Morning. Hello, beautiful. Lovely to see you out here on a beautiful, calm morning. Have a look at the sky. There it is. It's all grey, but it's not drizzling or anything, so the Wi-Fi works. It's just beautiful. It's quiet. I feel like whispering. So let me show you what's flowering here. There's not a lot, but there's always a smattering of flowers around the place. Just little bits of the purple campanula that's always flowering somewhere. And the odd lemon, which is still staying good on the tree. Morning, Linda. Lovely to see you. And we have white Japanese anemones, and they're so gorgeous. Just the most beautiful, pure white they are, and they just nod in the wind and look pretty. A couple more up here. Everything's wet, right? It's rained overnight, which is fine, not complaining. So there are the white ones, and I come down the steps. Here are the pink ones. And you know, they're much shorter and more hard. They're much shorter and more hard bitten than the ones in the front garden, because you know it gets dry up here. But they come on late when it rains, and they're lush and beautiful. And so this is the autumn garden. I think this is sort of shutting down. There's a lot of work that I actually have to do. I've got things to transplant. I've got a list almost as long as my arm. Let's take a look at these leaves that are changing. I find such beauty in these changes. And so there's a lot to do, but right now I'm talking to you. It's lovely to see you. Oh, listen, it's my neighbour calling to his new dog. He's got a wee puppy. She's so cute, it's just scary. Morning, Misty. Great to see you. So today it's inspired by your comment, Linda. I just thought, again, you know how I like things to be practical. I really want to talk about this business of becoming and being who you want to be before it's actually happened. Rhonda, it's great to see you, gorgeous. Morning, everybody. And yeah, how do you do that? Because I remember this feeling. You know, you've often heard me talk about the fact that joy was completely inaccessible to me. Well, it was. And I have to say, in the last couple of days, just literally yesterday morning, I can now bring joy up on command. I can now choose. I had quite an experience yesterday morning, and I practiced it some more today. Oh, puppies are so cute. This one is just beyond cute. She's so small and little. Small, sort of semi-miniature Jack Russell. So, I thought, let's just practice this business of creating elevated emotions, because if you've been a certain way for a long time and you want to feel something else, it can feel utterly impossible and inaccessible. And it's like, well, how the heck do I do this? And I know what this is like because I remember this. You know, my mentor a couple of years ago was saying to me, oh, you know, you need to feel excited, you need to feel joy, you need to feel like you've got it. And it's like, yeah, but how? Come on. Julian, morning. Hi, Tracy. How the hell do I do this? And, of course, she never actually told me how, because she didn't know how. And I look back and I understand now that she was very good at kind of digging up elevated emotions. She could kind of rug herself up into it. But she wasn't coming from a space of heart and brain coherence. And I couldn't stand that. I couldn't tolerate the level of pain that I was personally unconsciously feeling, not understanding. And I couldn't just override that and bull my way over it and say, well, I feel excited, because I didn't. And I think plenty of us know what this is like. It's like, oh, this is a great idea. How the hell do I do it? And you see it everywhere, you know. You see people who are just stuck in low emotions and low feelings. It's like, well, it's all very well telling them to cheer up, but how the feck do you do that? So this is what I want to talk about. Practically, how do you do it when you've been in a funk for 20 years? Hello, this was me. And And not realising that you're in a funk. That's the other thing. We don't realise how conditioned and accustomed we are to our low state of being, or our angry state of being, or our lackful, whatever it is, right? And so I thought, well, how do you do that? And so I'm just going to rave about this, and also we're going to play with it. So right now, yeah, exactly. What? How? Great idea. Give me some clues. So right now, please choose for yourself an emotion you'd like to experience, emotion you'd like to try to feel, an emotion you'd like to practice generating, right? And the first thing is, you're not saying, I'm going to master this emotion, I'm going to get it in one, I'm going to do a hole in one. We just watched The Matrix last night. I'm going to do the jump program the first time. No. You're just, I'm setting you up not to fail, right? Just choose something you'd like to explore and begin to create for yourself. And that way, it's just you're doing an experiment. You're having some practice. You're trying something on. Very important not to set yourself up for something that's just way, way too hard. Because, by the way, if you want to feel peace, if you want to feel love, if you want to feel safety, if you want to feel joy, if you want to feel whatever it is you want to feel, you can't try hard to feel that. You can't force yourself into feeling it. It doesn't work. Okay, so that's why we have to set ourselves up and say, okay, I'd like to explore this. I'd like to try this out. I'd like to try it on. I'd like to see what it might be like, and if I can find some ways into it. But not insist, I'm going to get this, because, it doesn't work like that for many of us. Some people, they can bull themselves into anything, but I find that I observe those people, and it's not with the best of intention and without knocking what they're doing. For me, it's not real, because it's forced, it's contrived. They're actually kind of coercing themselves, and it will work eventually. If you keep doing it anyway, you keep firing and wiring the state you want to get, you'll get there eventually. But it's just so hard if your own level of internal dissonance and disagreement is just like, oh, feck off. Who are you kidding, right? So I just won't do it that way. If you can do it that way, great. But I want to explore something else. So by now, probably you've got what you want to feel. If it's trust or faith, yeah, trust, and yeah, safety. Safety was such a big thing for me, but it does come down to trust in myself, actually. Really, is what it's boiled down to. Surprising, because, we're often told to trust God, trust the divine, trust the bigger thing. But what if you and I are the bigger thing, and we've just kind of forgotten that? So, right, you have some idea of what you want to feel, and it's a bit outside your box, or a whole lot. Hi, Laura! Morning! So it's outside your box, and you think, I just don't know how this feels, right? Now, the first thing you can try is, if you have a good, clear memory of a time when you did feel that way. Now, not everybody does, but just go back through your memories and you'll know. I can feel it. If you've got a memory, you know how it feels, right? If you do, while I'm talking about the next thing, if you do, pay attention to that memory. Pay attention to that memory. Remember what happiness feels like. Okay, but you have a memory of when you did feel happy, Linda. Or if you don't, we'll get to that in a minute. If you do have a memory that you think, yeah, I know what that was like, that was really cool, I want to live that again, I want to live it more, then just start to, maybe you put that memory like in a snow glass, a globe with the snow in it, and you turn it, shake it, and it's a pretty scene, sort of like that. But you put it in some way that you're kind of turning it around in your mind and looking at it. And then maybe you put yourself inside the globe and just try to go back to it and experience it a bit inside yourself. Lisa Louise, great to see you, gorgeous. Because you have that memory. If it came roaring into your head, it's like, I remember that, then you have that memory and you have those neural connections and you know what the chemistry feels like. That's why you want to go back there and have it some more. So while I'm talking about the other option, if you don't have one of those clear, really cool memories, please play with that. If you have no memory of what it is that you want to feel, and that was me with joy, right? I know I've said this before, I have pictures of myself, being small and young, and there's this huge smile on my face, and I used to look at those and think, well, yeah, that's great. But my internal response was, yeah, whatever. I don't feel it now. My response was angry. Oh, there you go. So, and you see the tiny baby daughter strapped to it. There's so much love in that. So if you don't have a good memory like that, most of us have something. But if you don't, then the same thing, I put it in a snow globe, start to look at it, start to explore it, start to play with it. Because you have to get to know this state of being that you want to experience. And for me, experiencing the state of joy was unknown. Really, truly unknown. It was a great intellectual concept. Knew about it as an intellectual concept. But I just had no visceral memory that I could go back to and say, oh, yeah, I felt so full of joy. Or if I did, I didn't know to go. I've just actually thought of one. Yeah, I felt really good then. But it never occurred to me to do that. It was like I had to create it from scratch. And you have to start getting familiar with who you were at that time or who you want to be. Same process. Remembering your past, remembering your future, there is no difference. We think it's in the past and it's gone, we can't have it again. We think it's in the future, it's not here and we can't have it. That's not true. As soon as you fire that circuit in your brain, and some of you have already noticed this, you've gone back to that memory and you started to, fill in the colours and the smells, and the shapes and the sensations, like, walking down the beach. What was the slope of it? How hard was the sand? The sound of the sea, the sky above you, what clouds were there? What light was, you start to fill it in and the memory starts to come alive in you. And so we can, even from a complete flat line, and you're right, Misty, because I know what that's like, from a complete flat line, you can remember your past and you can also remember your future. Because if you're listening to me talk about Linda recreating this beautiful experience of being on the beach and feeling a little baby and, it's beautiful, whatever, thinking, oh, that'd be so nice. Well, just play with it, make it yours. Maybe you don't want to be on the beach with a baby. Maybe you want to be on the beach, walking down the beach with somebody holding your hand, not necessarily a romantic partner, just a friend. Or, grab the bits that you like. And what's happening there neurologically, okay, we have this wonderful frontal lobe, 40% of the brain. It's the biggest proportion of the brain of all living creatures on this planet. There are creatures with bigger brains, but nobody has more of a frontal lobe than we do. I think, apes and chimpanzees and things about, 17, 15, 16, somewhere in there. Percent, and then dogs are 7% and cats 3 to 4. If your cat's smarter than you, you're in trouble. It's just a cute thing that Joe Dispenza says. How do you think I learned this? So the frontal lobe, and that thing of listening to me talk about the beach and, in your brain, your frontal lobe is listening to that and going, oh yeah, I do remember something that felt like that. No, I don't remember that. But maybe I could, and it starts selecting neurological networks by the law of association. I talk about what was the light like, what was the beach like, the slope of this beach, how hard was the sand, what did the sea sound like, and all of those things by association, your brain is searching for things that are similar, but they make sense for you. That's what the frontal lobe does. And you start to pull them together and create this new thing inside your frontal lobe. And the more you fill it in with sounds and, space and taste and texture, what were you wearing? Or if you have no memory, what do you want to be wearing? What's the temperature like when you are doing what you're doing? And you're firing up different neural networks in your brain and you're making it more real. And you can't do this without, to some degree, creating the experience in yourself now. Because, remember, more Neuroscience 101, when you have a new experience, be it learn something or creating a novel thought like some of you are doing now, when neurons link together, as they do when you do something new. Chemistry pause. You get neurotransmitters. Anthony, Laurie, it's great to see you, gorgeous beings. And those neurotransmitters talk to your emotional brain, and you get chemistry that makes you feel like you were just thinking. I'm going to read your comments later, Misty. It's all flying now. So I'll catch up and respond to you properly later. Anthony, late is way better than never, and you will find that you're in perfect time. So we create, and you see you can bring a negative experience to life just as powerfully as you can bring a positive experience to life. And here's the thing, Misty. See, that's really powerful because it had a high emotional quotient. And your challenge, because the emotional quotient is, lots of neurons linked together, lots of neurotransmitters, lots of chemistry, lots of impact, lots of the body having an altered sensation, pain, sorrow, shock, whatever, and the brain pays attention and go, oh, Yeah, it is like reopening a tin of worms. But you can do the same thing with a positive memory, whether it's happened or whether it's still in your future. So, enough about that. I want to get to something to amp it up now. So you can start to play. And look, if the only thing you can think of is a beautiful sunset, or sometime when you picked up a beautiful leaf when you were walking in the woods, it was autumn and you picked up something gorgeous. We all have a memory of something we appreciated. And if nothing else, find something that was beautiful or you appreciate, because gratitude is a way into everything. So you're starting to play with ideas. You're starting to play with, what can my future look like, right? What could it feel like? What could it taste like? What could it smell like? What am I wearing? How warm is it? How cold is it? What's the air doing on my face? Who's with me? Who's not with me? All of that. Now, maybe you know what I'm going to say to you. This is my right hand. Take your left hand. Take both hands if you like. Put them on your heart. Draw your awareness there. Because as you start to fire and wire things in your brain, and you pay more attention to that than anything else going on, and this is easy to do in meditation, but we can do it consciously as well, the brain becomes more focused on one thing. And just by doing that gently, it becomes a bit more coherent, right? But when you start to put your awareness on your heart, and you start to breathe in and out of your heart, and I talk about this a lot because it's so useful, and then we're going to pair that up with these new seeds of experience that you're creating or recreating for yourself, making real for yourself. Doesn't matter if it's happened or not. If you make it real inside yourself and you feel it like it's happening from your body's point of view, it is happening. And instead of you saying, it can't happen, it's not possible, it didn't happen, it's never going to happen, you're making epigenetic changes in your brain and in your body in real time. And you know what? That means that your body looks like it's actually happened. Your body really becomes a map to the future instead of just the memory of the past. So, put your hand on your heart and just be a bit creative. And these thoughts and feelings, the little images, the sensations and the sounds and everything, put them in your hand. Put them in your hand and put them on your heart. Let them settle into your heart centre. Julie, it's gorgeous to see you. Put all of that appreciation or the little, that memory, it was so nice. Put that memory in your hand and put it in your heart. And now breathe that memory. And as you breathe in, it's like you're kind of blowing up the memory like a balloon. And you're blowing it up with love. And as you breathe out, you're not kind of letting the energy out of the balloon. It's like you let what's growing in your heart start to come out of your heart and fill the field of energy around you. Because what we're really doing is saying, okay, we're putting attention on this future that we are creating for ourselves, and we're putting it in the heart and we're paying attention to it. You're putting all your attention on it. With practice, it gets easier to do that. You'll notice your brain wandering off sideways, left, right, centre. That's fine. Just keep bringing it back to this memory, this future that you're remembering that is in your hand, and put it in your heart. Draw your attention back there with every breath. You breathe in, You make it brighter, you make it more colourful, you make it warmer, you make it more supportive, you make it safer, you make it more peaceful. You breathe in what you want into your heart, into your hand. And then as you breathe out, you let that awareness expand around you. So you're cheating, you're doing an open focus. And that's going to make your brain more coherent. And you just keep doing this. And if you can do that for 3 breaths, and hold it there for a bit. Just hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, this feels good in my body. And then let it out and imagine that it's like light that is just glowing around you. Or like warmth. What colour is that memory that you are seeding into your field and your awareness? This is practically how we can do this. And I'm just making this up as I go along. I know that if we pay attention to what we desire, and if you put your attention in your heart, you combine those, you're going to start feeling it. And then you're saying, hey body, this is happening now. And if you keep practicing that, and that's where the work comes in, no one can do that for you. No external experience can do it for you either, because as soon as the external experience is over and you've gone, wow, that was amazing, if you haven't really changed and become the person that lives that and breathes it and knows it and feels it and is it, you're just going to go back to who you've been. That's why, the old thing of buying the fancy new car, it's cool for the first month, and it's like, well, I still feel crap. It doesn't do. You got to change. So this is a really simple way to change your identity. Thanks, Anthony. We do, our identity, it's all fire and wide in here, and we can change it. So just to help you fire and wire that again, in about our last 40 seconds, remember this future. Remember your future. Put it in your hand. As you put your hand over your heart, let that future sink into your heart center. And allow yourself to feel it. Take a risk and allow yourself to feel it. And it is a risk. When you're used to feeling down, impossible, scared, angry, threatened, whatever it is, it's a risk to allow yourself to feel something else. But do it anyway. Just do an experiment. Allow yourself to feel it. Now breathe in and let that feeling be fed by the love of the universe that's waiting to pour into you. And then as you breathe out, let it flow like light, like mist, like glory, like the motion into the space around you. And as you breathe in and out, you can let it grow. And then you are actually living your future in advance of the event. And your body and your brain become a map to that future, and it will find you. You won't have to do anything to go find it. It'll come to you. So that's what I wanted to share today. You know how I love to be practical. I love to be practical because I love things that work, and I have so much of my own self to change. So, the next time I want to remember my future, I'm on the fly, right? Because if I'm in meditation, I'll do it differently. But if I'm on the fly, I might just do this. I made this up on the spot. But I know this is something simple that you can play with. And you'll create your own ways of doing things. But the key is to get your head and your heart in agreement and your body to have the experience. And if you come back to this afternoon or, for 5, 6, 7, 10 hours, whatever, and you do it again, it'll be a little bit easier because you've already done it once. Fire and wire it, practice it, become it. That's how you do it. Big love. Thanks so much for joining with me. Let me know how you get on. I'd love to know. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.